Before we begin, make sure you're somewhere quiet. Turn off the lights. Put on your headphones. Because the stories you're about to hear aren't just scary. These are the kinds of experiences people don't talk about. If you enjoy true horror stories, unsettling encounters, and disturbing events that happen to real people, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Now, let's begin. I've never told this story out loud before. Not to the police. Not to my family. Not even to my therapist. Because the moment I say his name, it feels like he's listening. Ethan and I had been best friends since middle school. We were inseparable in that way only kids with rough home lives usually are. We slept over at each other's houses almost every weekend, skipped school together, got into trouble together. If someone asked about one of us, they usually asked about both. Everyone used to joke that Ethan was a little off, but I brushed it off. He was intense, sure. Quiet when everyone else was loud. He stared too long, laughed at the wrong moments, and hated being alone more than anyone I'd ever met. But he was loyal. Obsessively loyal. And back then, I thought that was a good thing. The first real warning sign came the night my girlfriend, Hannah, slept over. Ethan was staying too. The three of us were supposed to watch movies and crash in the living room. At some point during the night, I woke up thirsty and went to the kitchen. That's when I saw Ethan standing in the hallway. He was just standing there. Completely still. His eyes were wide open, fixed on the door to my bedroom. "Bro, what are you doing?" I whispered. He flinched hard, like I'd caught him doing something he wasn't supposed to. "I thought I heard something," he said. I didn't think much of it until the next morning when Hannah pulled me aside. "Why was Ethan watching me sleep?" she asked. I laughed at first, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. She said she woke up in the middle of the night and saw him sitting on the floor beside the bed, knees pulled to his chest, just staring at her. When she asked what he was doing, he told her, "Making sure you don't take him away from me." I confronted Ethan later. He denied it, of course. Said she must have been dreaming. Said she was trying to turn me against him. A week later, Hannah broke up with me. She told me she didn't feel safe around my friend. That's when things got worse. Ethan started showing up everywhere. If I went out with co-workers, he'd text asking where I was. If I didn't respond, he'd somehow already know. He'd mention things I hadn't told him. Conversations I'd had privately. Places I'd been alone. Once, I came home and found him sitting on my couch in the dark. "How did you get in?" I asked. He smiled and held up my spare key. "You gave this to me," he said. I didn't remember doing that. The real nightmare started the night I tried to cut him off. I told Ethan I needed space. That I was trying to move forward with my life. New people. New routines. I said it as calmly as I could. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just nodded. That night, I woke up to the sound of breathing. Not mine. I opened my eyes and saw Ethan standing at the foot of my bed. He was smiling. "You said you didn't want to be alone," he whispered. "I'm fixing that." I screamed and he vanished into the hallway. When I turned on the lights, the front door was still locked. Windows shut. No sign of forced entry. The next morning, my phone was filled with photos. Photos of me sleeping. From inside my room. I called the police. They searched the apartment, questioned Ethan, but found nothing. No proof. No fingerprints. No signs of entry. They told me I was stressed. They told me to get a restraining order. 2 nights later, I woke up paralyzed. I couldn't move. Couldn't scream. Ethan was lying next to me, his face inches from mine. "I'll never let anyone hurt you," he whispered. "Not even yourself." When I finally broke free and turned on the light, the other side of the bed was empty. But the sheets were still warm. I moved out the next day. Changed my number. Deleted social media. Cut contact with everyone who knew Ethan. For a while, it worked. Then last week, I came home and found a framed photo sitting on my kitchen table. It was a picture of us as kids. Smiling. Arms around each other. On the back, written in his handwriting, were the words, "Best friends don't leave." I sleep with the lights on now. And sometimes, late at night, I hear breathing beside my bed. I met Lucas during my first year of college. I was a commuter student, quiet, kept to myself, and honestly just trying to survive. Lucas noticed me because I always sat alone in the back of our criminal psychology class. One day he slid into the seat next to me like he'd known me forever. "You don't talk much," he said. "That's good. Quiet people notice things." That should have been my cue to move seats. Lucas was charming in an unsettling way. He laughed easily, but his eyes never matched his smile. He remembered every small detail about me, where I grew up, my favorite food, my class schedule, things I didn't remember telling him. Within weeks, he was my closest friend. He insisted on it. He started dressing like me. At first it was subtle. Same shoes. Same jackets. Then the same haircut. When I joked about it, he smiled and said, "You've got a solid look." Why change perfection? He hated my other friends. Not openly. Never confrontational. He just made comments. They don't really get you. They talk over you. They disappear if you stop being useful. Eventually, I noticed something disturbing. Every time I cancelled plans with Lucas to hang out with someone else, something bad happened. One friend's car got keyed. Another suddenly dropped out of school. A girl I was dating started getting anonymous messages describing her daily routine in disturbing detail. Lucas always knew about it before I told him. The breaking point came when my roommate moved out. He said he woke up one night and saw someone standing in his doorway, whispering his name. When he turned on the light, the hallway was empty, but the whispering didn't stop. He moved out the next day without finishing the semester. That night, Lucas showed up with beer. "Guess you need a new roommate," he said. I told him no. He laughed, but his eyes hardened. "You'll change your mind." That night, I dreamed I was watching myself sleep from the corner of my room. When I woke up, my phone was unlocked. Someone had gone through everything. Photos. Messages. Emails. Even my notes app. A new note had been added. "You're safer when I'm close." I confronted Lucas the next day. Told him I knew he was behind everything. That he needed help. That we were done. He didn't deny it. Instead, he looked hurt. "I was becoming you," he said quietly. "You were supposed to let me finish." I blocked him everywhere. 2 weeks passed peacefully. Then my professor emailed me. He asked why I'd submitted an essay under a different name. Attached was a paper written in my exact style, same phrasing, same mistakes, but signed by Lucas. The content was about identity loss and obsession. The final line read, "Sometimes the easiest way to be someone is to erase them." That night, I came home to my apartment door unlocked. Inside, everything had been rearranged. My clothes were gone, replaced with Lucas's. Photos of me were missing. Photos of him were framed on my walls. In my bedroom mirror, written in red marker, were the words, "Look at you now." I ran. I stayed with my parents for months. I changed schools. I changed my name online. I thought it was over. Until last week. I was stopped at a grocery store by a stranger. He smiled. "You look different in person," he said. "But it still fits." I froze. He was wearing my old jacket. He leaned in and whispered, "I finished becoming you. Now it's your turn to disappear. I don't answer unknown numbers anymore. And sometimes, when I look in mirrors too long, I feel like I'm the one wearing someone else's life." I've known Ethan since we were 8 years old. We grew up in the same neighborhood, same bus stop, same schools. Everyone called us inseparable, but that wasn't true. I had friends. Ethan only had me. When we were kids, he used to wait outside my house every morning. If I was 5 minutes late, he'd knock. If I didn't answer, he'd peer through the windows until my mom told him to leave. She thought it was cute. It wasn't. In high school, things got worse. Ethan didn't like when I sat with other people. He didn't like when I joined clubs or stayed late. He didn't like when I started dating. Whenever I had plans that didn't involve him, something always went wrong. A tire went flat. A phone charger vanished. An alarm mysteriously didn't go off. Small things. Easy to ignore. Until my girlfriend broke up with me. She said someone had been texting her anonymous messages, describing things only I would know. The messages warned her that she was interrupting something important. When I confronted Ethan, he looked genuinely confused. "I was just protecting what we have," he said. I stopped talking to him after graduation. Blocked him. Ignored him. Moved on. Or at least, I tried to. I started noticing him everywhere. At the grocery store. Across the street from my apartment. Sitting in a parked car outside my job. Every time I caught his eye, he smiled and waved. I told myself it was coincidence. Then I started hearing noises at night. Soft footsteps outside my bedroom door. Breathing that didn't match my own. The sound of someone sitting on the edge of my bed, compressing the mattress, without touching me. I installed a camera. The footage was clean. Every night. Except one. At 3:11 a.m., the camera turned on by itself. The footage showed Ethan standing inches from my face while I slept. Not moving. Just watching. The timestamp showed he stood there for over 4 hours. I called the police. They found nothing. No signs of forced entry. No fingerprints. No evidence. They suggested sleepwalking. That night, I slept with the lights on. At exactly 3:11 a.m., the power went out. My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "I liked you better asleep." I ran. Stayed with a friend across town. 2 nights later, he texted me. "You left without saying goodnight." I changed my number. Deleted my social media. Moved again. Months passed. No signs of him. I thought it was over. Then my best friend, my new one, went missing. Police found his apartment unlocked. No struggle. No fingerprints. No witnesses. The only thing left behind was a handwritten note taped to his fridge. "You were borrowing him." I finally understood. Ethan didn't want my time. He wanted me isolated. I moved back in with my parents. Locked my door every night. Installed cameras in every room. Last night, every camera shut off at once. The lights flickered. And from the hallway, I heard a familiar voice. "You never should have tried to replace me." My bedroom door slowly opened. Ethan stood there, older now, thinner, but smiling the same way. "I waited my whole life," he said softly. "You don't need anyone else anymore." The last thing I remember is him turning off the light. I don't know how long I've been here. There are no windows. No clocks. Just him. Sitting nearby. Watching. Making sure I'm never alone again.